Moscow is the capital and largest city of Russia. The city stands on the Moskva River in central Russia, with a population estimated at over 13 million residents within the city limits, over 19.1 million residents in the urban area, and over 21.5 million residents in its metropolitan area. The city covers an area of 2,511 square kilometers, while the urban area covers 5,891 square kilometers, and the metropolitan area covers over 26,000 square kilometers. Moscow is among the world's largest cities, being the most populous city entirely in Europe, the largest urban and metropolitan area in Europe, and the largest city by land area on the European continent. First documented in 1147, Moscow grew to serve as the capital of the Grand Duchy of Moscow. When the Tsardom of Russia was proclaimed, Moscow remained the political and economic center for most of its history. Under the reign of Peter the Great, the Russian capital was moved to the newly founded city of St. Petersburg in 1712, decreasing Moscow's influence. The northernmost and coldest megacity in the world, Moscow is governed as a federal city, where it serves as the political, economic, cultural, and scientific center of Russia and Eastern Europe. As a global city, Moscow has one of the world's largest urban economies. The city is one of the fastest-growing tourist destinations and is one of Europe's most visited cities. Moscow has the second highest number of billionaires of any city. The Moscow International Business Center is one of the largest financial centers in the world and features the majority of Europe's tallest skyscrapers. Moscow was the host city of the 1980 Summer Olympics and one of the host cities of the 2018 FIFA World Cup. The city contains several UNESCO World Heritage Sites and is known for its display of Russian architecture, particularly in areas such as the Red Square and buildings such as the St. Basil's Cathedral and the Moscow Kremlin, the latter of which is the seat of power of the government of Russia. Moscow is situated on the banks of the Moskva River, which flows for just over 500 kilometers through the East European plain in central Russia, not far from the natural border of the forest and forest steppe zone. 49 bridges span the river and its canals within the city's limits. The Moscow Mufti Council claimed that Muslims numbered around 1.5 million of 10.5 million of the city's population in 2010. There are 4 mosques in the city. Moscow's architecture is world-renowned. Moscow is the site of St. Basil's Cathedral, with its elegant onion domes, as well as the Cathedral of Christ the Savior and the Seven Sisters. The first Kremlin was built in the middle of the 12th century. Moscow has one of the largest municipal economies in Europe and it accounts more than 1/5 of Russia's gross domestic product. As of 2021, the GRP of Moscow reached almost 24.5 trillion rubles. GMP of Moscow region was 31.3 trillion rubles or around 425 billion United States dollars. The average gross monthly wage in the city is 123,688 rubles, which is around twice the national average of 66,572 rubles, and one of the highest among the federal subjects of Russia. Moscow is home to the third highest number of billionaires of any city in the world, and has the highest number of billionaires of any city in Europe. It is the financial center of Russia and home to the country's largest banks and many of its largest companies, such as oil giant Rosneft. Moscow accounts for 17% of retail sales in Russia and for 13% of all construction activity in the country. The Moscow metro system is famous for its art, murals, mosaics, and ornate chandeliers. It started operation in 1935 and immediately became the centerpiece of the transportation system. More than that, it was a Stalinist device to awe and reward the populace, and give them an appreciation of Soviet realist art. It became the prototype for future Soviet large-scale technologies.